welcome to today's football predictions on BetCraft. Another very wonderful Sunday morning, and once again we are back with our predictions right on this very channel. Always looking for football matches happening across the globe, and also getting the stats on these matches and making valid based on these stats that we are available. All right, that's what we do on a daily basis. All right, and today we already have our games lined up. With the stats, and we are going to be looking at these matches one after the other and making verdicts on each of these games. But before we do that, we'll be asking those of us who are coming across our video for the first time that are yet to subscribe, take our time to hit the button right now so that you won't be missing out on our football matches predictions that will be happening on this very channel on a daily basis. All right, that being said, without further ado, we head to the business of today, and it starts with the very first match in La Liga, where we'll have FC Barcelona who will be facing the Girona. Okay, and looking at recent games for these two sides, you could see for FC Barcelona, it is 5 victories and a draw in the last 6 matches that they had so far. And Girona, on the other hand, have had 3 draws, but have lost 3 matches in the last 6 games that they had so far. All right, when you look at how they fared on home and away basis, you can see that for FC Barcelona playing from home, they've actually won 7 games and 2 draws, but have lost 1 game in the last 10 home matches that they have so far for FC Barcelona. We saw them doing so very well against Osasuna in the last 3 days, and we saw them beating Osasuna by 3-0 on that occasion. And looking at their away side, Girona, this just 1 victory and 3 draws, but they've also lost 6 matches in the last 10 away games that they have so far. The last away game they had, so they're playing out a 1-0 draw, with Espanyol. Okay, and putting all this together, also with the fact that the last time both teams met, it was Barcelona who won from away by 4-0, and prior to that we saw Girona beating Barcelona by 4-2. So the last 3 meetings for these sides have actually produced lots of goals, and in this one we'll be going for we'll be going for the Barcelona side to win out shortly, in this very one. So it is the home side to win out shortly. That's what we expect for that very game. Okay, and the next game that we have here is in Italian Serie A, where we have Inter Milan who will be coming up against Udinese. Okay, from the recent games for both sides, you see that for Inter Milan, the home side, they've been able to achieve 5 victories out of the last 6 matches that they played so far, and also had 1 draw. They've not lost any single match out of those 6 matches. And the way side Udinese also have won 3 games and also 2 draws, but have lost 1 match in the last 6 matches that they have so far. All right, looking at how they fared on home and away basis, you can see playing from home, Inter Milan have won 8 games and a draw in the last 10 home games that they have so far. They've also lost 1 out of those. They've actually won 80% of the home matches that they've had so far in the last 10 home matches. And the away side, Udinese, have had 3 victories and also 4 draws, as well as 3 losses in the last 10 away matches that they have so far. It's not been a very consistent good result for the away side. And Inter Milan is a side that is actually doing very well at the moment, and they'll be looking to take advantage of the Udinese side to achieve 3 points against this very side. And also remember, Inter Milan is actually in the title race, and the last time both teams met, it was in December. It was Inter who won from home on that occasion by 2-0. And prior to that, Inter also won. And as a matter of fact, the last 5 head-to-head meetings for both sides have seen Inter Milan dominate this very tie, winning on all 5 meetings, be it home or away. So in this very encounter, we'll be expecting the home side, Inter Milan, to also take the day in this very one, and it is the home side to win out shortly. That's so far for that very encounter. And that takes us to the next, also in Italy, but in Italian Serie C, where we have Avellino who will be facing Benevento. All right, for Avellino, it is 6 victory out of 6 games in the last 6 matches that they have so far. And the away side, Benevento, have had 6 draws out of 6. They've drawn the entire 6 matches they've had in recent times. And looking at how these two teams fared on home and away basis, you can see that Avellino, the home side, have won 9 games out of the last 10 home matches. They've also had 1 draw. In the away side, Benevento have managed to achieve 3 victories out of those, but have also had 4 draws as well as 3 losses in the last 10 away games that they had so far on a head-to-head basis. The last time both teams met was in November of last year, and it was a 2-2 draw. Benevento played from home on that very occasion, and prior to that, we saw Avellino playing from home, and they actually won by 1-0 against Benevento. That was in April of last year, and in this very one, we'll be definitely going for the home side to take the day to win out shortly in this one. Avellino, who have been doing so very well, winning the last 6 matches that they had in recent times, and winning 9 matches out of the last 10. It is the home side to win out shortly. That's what we expect for that very game, okay? And that will take us to the next for today. It takes us to Denmark, where we have Midtjylland, who will be coming up against Brøndby. All right, for Midtjylland, it is 4 victories out of 6, and also 2 losses in the last 6 games. And away side, Brøndby have won just once, but have also had 3 draws and losing 2 matches out of the last 6 games that they have so far. When you look at how these teams performed from home and away perspective, you could see that for Midtjylland, the home side, it is 6 victories out of the last 10 home matches. They've also had a draw, but have lost 3 matches out of those. And away side, on the other hand, Brøndby have managed to achieve 2 victories and 3 draws, but have also lost 5 matches in the last 10 away games that they have so far. But when you look closely at the results for these 2 sides, it is, actually the matches produced lots of goals. We can see Midtjylland in the last home game that they had, scoring 4 goals against 2. Against the Randers on that very occasion. Also, Randers beating the Brøndby in the last away game for Brøndby, but by 4 goals to 2. It shows that these 2 sides score goals as well as concede goals. And on head-to-head basis, last time both teams met, we saw Brøndby from away beating Midtjylland by 5 goals to 0. That was in November of last year, and in this very one, without so much fuse, we expect to see a lot of goals in this one, and it is a minimum of 3 goals in this very encounter. So an over 2.5. That's what we expect for that very game, okay? And the next we have for you also in the Danish Superliga, where we have SønderjyskE will be up against Silkeborg. SønderjyskE have managed just a draw in the last 6 games that they had so far. Just 1 draw, and they've lost 5 matches out of those 6 games. And the way side on the other hand, Silkeborg managing to achieve a 3 victory and a draw, but have also lost 2 matches out of those recent 6 games that they have so far. And when you look at how these 2 teams perform from home on a week basis, you can see that playing from home, SønderjyskE have managed 1 win out of the last 10 matches and 1 draw as well. That tells you how poor this team have been, winning just 1 game and a draw and losing 8 matches out of the last 10 home meetings. For the away side, Silkeborg, it is 4 victories and 3 draws, and as well as 3 losses. And this very one, also on head-to-head basis, you can see the last time both teams met, it was actually earlier this month, and we saw Silkeborg from away, beating SønderjyskE by 3 goals to 1 on that occasion. And Silkeborg have actually dominated proceedings, against SønderjyskE, winning the last 6 head-to-head meetings. Always seeing Silkeborg beating this very side, be it from home or away. So in this one, we'll be expecting the away side to also take the day. In this one, it is the away side to win out shortly. That's what we expect for that very game, all right? And the last game that we have for you today is also in the Denmark, but it is in the Danish First Division, where we have, Odense will be coming up against Horsens. All right, for Odense, it is 2 victories and 4 draws in the last 6 games. And for Horsens, their away side, they've won 3 games, 2 draws, but have lost 1 out of the last 6 games that they had. And when you look at how these 2 teams performed from home and away basis, you can see that for Odense, the home side, it is 6 victories and 3 draws from the last 10 home matches, and as well as 1 loss. And the away side at Horsens have won 4 games and 2 draws, losing 4 matches in the last 10 away attempts. All right, when you look closely at results also, you can see that Odense, the home side, scores a lot of goals, and as well as concede, they've been averaging 2 goals per game in the last 10 home matches that they've had so far. As a matter of fact, the last 6 home matches produce both sides scoring goal match for the Odense. The last 6 home matches that they had, tells you that both sides always score. And for the away side, Horsens, they've been doing very well also. The last 2 away matches that they had produced lots of goals, a minimum of over 4.5 each of those matches. And the last time both teams met was in November of last year, and it was a 3-2 victory for Odense. And that tells you the level of goals that always come up with these two sides meeting each other. So we'll be expecting a lot of goals in this one, and it is a minimum of 3 goals and over 2.5. That's what we're fighting for that very game. And that brings our predictions for you today on Betcraft to a conclusion. Wish you the very best of luck and hope your ticket goes green. Also remember to play responsibly. These are football matches. Sometimes it may not be exactly what it seems. That being said, tomorrow is another day. We'll be back with our predictions all right on this very channel. Do not miss out for until that time. Keep winning.